Hello everyone, Constitutionalist Libertarian here. And in this video we're going to be taking a look at an article from the New York Times written by Glenn Thrush and Maggie Haberman, and it was published on July 21st. Sean Spicer resigns as White House press secretary. Now, the thing is they're trying to portray a situation that is clearly one thing as another, allowing for them to earn back the fake news moniker here a bit, because they're pushing propaganda over fact. Sean Spicer thought that he was going to be getting a promotion. He didn't get the promotion, so he resigned. That's how simple this is. And the thing is I'm glad that Spicer is gone. I thought he was a bad choice from the get-go. I saw him for what he was as an establishment person. I saw that he would look out for himself before he would look out for the president, office of the president, and the president himself. I saw that he didn't have the person's, skills, the people skills, I should say. The ability to interact with them. The ability to diffuse them. The ability to have a rapport with them. He was just blustery. I mean, he created an environment where McCarthy gets dressed up like him, acts like a fucking moron, and Saturday Night Live goes, "Oh yeah, this is funny," and uses it to go after him, and it's not even fucking funny. They're telling their viewers, "Oh yeah, look at this is funny." The left media is pushing, "This is funny," and it really wasn't. And I used to love Saturday Night Live, at least when they were, the fair game types, and they went after Clintons instead of protecting them. Anyone who grew up watching Saturday Night Live, or was an adult, we'll say even, a young adult, an adult, during the time of when Norm Macdonald was running the news desk, I shouldn't say running it, but you know what I mean, he was on the news desk, and we had the Clintons for 8 years. During that time, they were harsh on the Clintons. They exposed all of their criminality. They exposed how they were taking money from Chinese communist officials. All of that shit. We're talking Saturday Night Live. Now, they don't expose anything when it comes to the left. And they throw McCarthy in a Spicer suit and call that comedy. So, anyways, let's get into the article here, and I'll show you what I mean about how they're trying to completely portray this as different than what it is. Washington. Sean Spicer, the White House press secretary, resigned Friday after telling President Trump he vehemently agreed with his appointment of Anthony Scaramucci, a New York financier, as his new communications director. Why? Because there was talk of him getting that job. My opinion, he ain't qualified for it. When you can't handle the press, when you can't handle people, you don't deserve to run the whole fucking show, dude. After offering Mr. Scaramucci the job on Friday morning, Mr. Trump asked Mr. Spicer to stay on as press secretary, reporting to Mr. Scaramucci. Well, of course you don't want to report to that guy, because he felt he was entitled to that job. Why if you get passed up for a promotion, are you going to stick around? Not necessarily a lot of people do. Because they're like, well, fuck this, I deserve that, I'm out of here. But Mr. Spicer rejected the offer, expressing his belief that Mr. Scaramucci's hiring would add to the confusion and uncertainty already engulfing the White House, according to two people with direct knowledge of the exchange. So then we get back into this whole left thing of anonymous sources. Because, it would be nice to know who these people are, and if they actually were there, because we're talking about, because look at this choice of words, direct knowledge of the exchange. That implies a lot. It could be taken as they were there, or they know what happened because someone told them, type thing. When you use this type of wording, and you're using an anonymous source, you have to have bullshit called on you. Seriously. The reason why he quit is because it was going through the media, okay? It was going through the legacy, dying, dinosaur, mainstream media that he was going to be tapped for the job that Scaramucci got. He didn't get it. That's all it was. Deal. Mr. Spicer's top deputy, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, will serve as press secretary instead. She's a better choice. She knows how to handle the public. She knows how to build a rapport with them. She knows how to diffuse a situation. She knows how to keep her cool when put on the spot. These are all things that Spicer could not do or would not do. He was not qualified for that job by that bunch of factual stuff right there. Because if you can't do those things, then you shouldn't be in that fucking position. It's that plain and simple. And you shouldn't be the person overseeing that position if you can't do that either. The long-anticipated resignation rattled an administration already reeling from the most trying 2-week stretch of Mr. Trump's presidency. Oh my God. Oh, application to the bullshit fucking Russian collusion thing of meeting with the attorney that has now come out to have been basically, set up by the Democrats to try to entrap, if not entrap, at least try to create the situation that we have on here, because they had nothing to entrap them with. They got nothing, nothing criminal on them. So they're going to at least use this to try to portray a situation. So they're trying to make that bullshit fucking thing into a trying 2 weeks. Okay. Oh, you two are fucking morons. What are your names again? So I can call you by name and call you fucking morons. Glenn, Maggie, you're fucking morons. Oh, God. You really are fucking morons, Glenn and Maggie. The president's health care effort... Oh, my God. It's not even a fucking word. This is the New York fucking Times. Okay? You write for the New York fucking Times, you too. Maggie, Glenn. It's floundered. Editor at the New York Times who edited this. It's floundered. Because foundered is not a fucking word. That should have been picked up by a fucking spell check. And next week's promises no respite. With his son Don Trump Jr. and son-in-law Jared Kushner due to testify before Congress on questions about their contact with Russia. Oh, God. Yeah, okay. Pushing a fucking narrative here in this. Excuse me, but they're not that worried, I'm sure. I mean, Don Jr. kind of scooped you fucking sour-pilled bitches. You fucking salty bitches. And because he fucking, did that, because he fucking scooped you by releasing his own emails, because he fucking trumped you, pun intended. You're salty fucking bitches. Oh, God. This is fucking hilarious. They're not worried. I don't see it. If the moves amounted to a kind of organizational reset, it was not part of a pivot or grand redesign. Actually, it kind of was. See, you fucking morons don't realize that President Trump is literally playing a game of chess with you while you're playing checkers, and he's thinking fucking 6 moves ahead. If not more. He's played you fucking people like violins. Not only a violin, but a Stradivarius violin is what all of you are to him. He's making you sing like a Stradivarius. It's hilarious. The president, according to a dozen people familiar with the situation, meant to upgrade, not overhaul, his existing staff with the addition of a smooth-talking, Long Island-bred former hedge fund manager who is currently the senior vice president and chief strategy officer at the Export-Import Bank, which he joined just last month. Okay, how is any of this stuff pertinent? Yeah, he was a hedge fund manager. You see, you're trying to throw this into to cloud things. And the thing is, you're trying to say not overhaul. When it was. Because keeping things the way they were would have been putting Spicer in the position and then moving who's in his position now to it. But that didn't happen. This was meant to be an upgrade. This was meant to be an overhaul. This was meant to be all of that. It was because we're talking about a department in the White House that has deep state operatives in it. He needs someone that he can trust. This was meant as an overhaul. Spicer, he did not trust him. Because if he did, Spicer would be in this position that we have here. With Scaramucci taking. It's that cut and dry. His rapport with the president establishes a new power center in a building already bristling with rivalry. No. His rapport with the president means that he knows that he has someone who's got his fucking back instead of having all these Clinton era, fucking baby Bush era, and friggin' Obama era fucking establishment fucking pencil pushing fucks screwing him over and leaking shit and all that. He's got someone who's got his back that's going to make sure that shit stops. That's going to make sure that shit's coordinated. That's not going to fucking be sitting there saying one thing when it's clear, you know, they should have the facts before they open their mouth, unlike Spicer. Because Spicer did that a couple times, and then they went, oh, well, look at what the president's doing. They got Spicer saying one thing, and he says another. No, he's going out and saying one thing, and he isn't checking with the president, I'm guessing, or someone who has direct contact with the president. Despite the move, the immutable reality of the Trump White House remains the same. The president has no intention of changing his behavior. Why should he? Why should he, bow down and worship at the fucking legacy media and allow you to control the fucking message? Fuck you. He merely believes his communication staff needs to defend him better. He's right. That's correct. They need to defend him better. Spicer threw him under the fucking bus a couple times. He acted like, oh yeah, he was defending him. But you could tell he's a deep state little fucker. That's why he wasn't trusted. Because at least put him out there. Let him deal. I honestly think this was planned by Trump. He knew that Spicer would get all pissed and be like, well, fuck this, I'm out of here. You know, he'd be like the mic dropping rapper and be like, fuck this, I'm out. You know, and he did. And Trump actually has the person he was looking at more so than Spicer in the position where Spicer was. So why don't you bring that up? Because now our current press secretary is who Trump was in favor of over Spicer. To me, it seems like he fucking played the game and won. When that's the case. And not only that, he's got Scaramucci, a man he can trust, running the fucking show over there. You fucking idiots don't even know what the hell's going on? Or if you do, you're disingenuous, lying little fuckers. And Mr. Scalmucci even suggested his role would be to unshackle an already unfettered president. Exactly. Because he's got a man who's got his back who's going to fucking defend him. Okay? That's going to put the press in its place. And make sure that they're put in their place. And you're trying to make it sound like he's unfettered. The president isn't unfettered because if he was unfettered, go look up the fucking definition. You're both professional writers. That would mean he was getting a free fucking pass on all fucking fronts, all levels, with the press and everything else. Oh, kind of like Obama had for 8 fucking years. Kind of like how Hillary would have had if she had won the fucking show. So, yeah, fuck you. You know, you lying fucks. I think there's been, at times, a disconnect between the way we see the president and how much we love the president and the way some of you perhaps see the president. Mr. Scalmucci said during a news conference that kicked off with his announcement of Miss Sanders' new job. See, Huckabee Sanders, she is a good fucking choice. I could see why, before Spicer was picked, the president was leaning towards her. I mean, she was kind of a looked at as a good choice by him and several other people in the campaign or the transition team. Spicer should have never got that position. We wouldn't be where we are right now. And Scalmucci is right. There is a disconnect with the way we see the president, thanks to people like you two and outlets like you work for here, the New York Times, fake fucking news, CNN, very fake news, MSNBC, fake news, and so on and so on and so on. All right, and with the love of the president and how people see the president, okay, how much we love the president, you've created an environment where people hate him. That's all on you people. And he's right on that too. It's you assholes created that environment because you wanted Hillary and you didn't get her. Fucking deal. And you're perpetuating it still. And how you see the president. Well, you see him as the guy who fucking stole the fucking throne from Her Majesty Hillary. He's right on all accounts with that. He's right. I certainly see the American people probably see the president the way I do, he added. Contradicting a raft of recent polls showing Mr. Trump's approval rating below 40% nationally. Actually, yeah, your polls. Where are your polls? You don't show your polls. You ignore polls that show otherwise because the only polls showing that are from leftist outlets. Other polls that aren't intentionally oversampling Democrats like the election or from leftist outlets where you're going to have mostly people that are anti-Trump responding. He's above 40%. He's well above 40%. So you're fucking lying, you're fucking pushing a narrative, and you're both fucking scumbags. But we want to get that message out there. Because you know what? Everywhere that got him in, fucking loves him. The only people who don't like him, which I'd love to know where your polls were taken, was it like, say, oh, I don't know, Washington, say Washington State, like Seattle type stuff, like West Coast, left coast, commie fuckingville, or was it New York City type stuff, like on the East Coast, or Boston, or places like that? Because where the president won, his popularity is as strong as ever. And in those places where, your polls are, those people who voted for him are still popular. And in my personal life, I know people who have been coming more and more over to his side. Seeing the shit that you assholes are doing, because you're waking them up, and I gotta thank you. CNN and you and MSNBC, they look at the shit you're putting out, and you're waking them the fuck up. Thank you. In a statement on Friday night, Mr. Trump said, "Anthony is a person I have great respect for," and went on to describe the problem he hopes he will solve. "We have accomplished so much, and we are being given credit for so little," he said. "The good news is the people get it, even if the media doesn't." And he's right. The president is right. And it's not Mr. Trump. It's President fucking Trump. See, this goes to show your fucking hate for him and your disdain for him and how this is a fucking political hit piece. Because when you call the President of the United fucking States of America, you pieces of shit, Mr. as opposed to President, you make your fucking intentions and your political ideology clear. You are wastes of fucking space who are not reporting the news. You're creating the news. In a tweet late Friday, again, Mr. Trump, it's President fucking Trump. In a tweet late Friday, President Trump also called Mr. Spicer a wonderful person who took tremendous abuse from the fake news media, but his future is bright. And the president, not Mr., is right. You fuckers abused the shit out of him. Because you saw a fucking target because of how worked up he got. You fucking played off of his getting worked up and everything else, and you used that against the president. You weaponized it. You fucking leftist pieces of shit, you two. Okay? Because it's the president. He's the president. Get over it. When you're putting Mr., it's clear that if we were talking about Hillary, you'd be like, President Hillary Rodham Clinton. You'd use her whole full fucking name. Mr. Spicer's departure ends an excruciating saga, even for a highly factionalized White House riven with intrigue. He had hoped to last a year as press secretary. He quit after 6 months and a day. He hoped to last a year. Really? Where's your proof on that? And he quit after 6 months because he didn't get the promotion he wanted. I love how you leave that out. Because it was kind of going around, even on leftist outlets, that he was the next in line. Or so they thought for that position. He didn't get it. This is sour fucking grapes with him. That's why he quit. A former spokesman and strategist for the Republican National Committee, Mr. Spicer was a frequent target of the president's ear during the first few months of the administration. Well, I wonder why. Because as a spokesman and as a strategist for the RNC, when it was conspiring against him, Spicer was one of those people involved in the fucking conspiracy to try to make sure that he didn't get the nomination. So, I could understand why the president would look at him the way he fucking did. You leave that shit out too, you disingenuous, sleazy little fucks. He attained a notoriety unusual for a presidential spokesman, his combative style spawning a caricature on Saturday Night Live. All you people pushed his fucking buttons to get him worked up so that you could fucking use that to exploit it, to go after the president. Tell the truth, because that's what you fucking did. Mr. Trump expressed gratitude for Mr. Spicer's service in a statement and predicted that Mr. Spicer will succeed in the future. Just look at his great television ratings, he said. The resignation is a blow to the embattled White House Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus, the former Republican National Committee chairman who brought Mr. Spicer into the West Wing despite skepticism from Mr. Trump, who initially questioned his loyalty. Rightfully so questioned his loyalty because, see, Reince Priebus was a marriage of convenience. I'm sure the president wants him out. There had to have been some backroom political dealing in order to secure the president the nomination and not have them steal it like the DNC did from Bernie, because it is clear that Bernie would have most likely won the nomination if they didn't do their shady superdelegate and all out fucking election theft otherwise, because they did get caught stealing the election and rigging it and things like that. So yeah, Spicer was kind of Priebus's guy. Trump realizes Trump did not want him to end up in this vacant position that Scaramucci now has. He didn't want that. The reason being is you've got two deep state establishment neocon people in the White House. You don't want to give one of them more power. You're trying to get rid of them. You know, it was a marriage of convenience type thing. And I had a feeling if Spicer didn't get this job, he was going to leave. He proved me right. Mr. Scaramucci described his relationship with Mr. Priebus as a brotherly one where they rough each other up, and he called Mr. Priebus a good friend. Let me translate that. This is being civil political speak. They rough each other up. So they're basically fighting with each other right now. Okay? Because Priebus is a deep state establishment RNC shitbag. I understood him taking in Priebus as a matter of a marriage of convenience because he probably had to work a deal to make sure that they didn't steal the nomination. And it's good that Scaramucci is putting him in his fucking place and is backing the president, his friend. During the transition, Mr. Trump had During the transition, President Trump had planned to appoint Mr. Scaramucci, 52, a Harvard Law School graduate, as the director of his Office of Public Liaison, but the offer was revoked at the request of Mr. Priebus, who had concerns about Mr. Scaramucci's overseas investments. Huh, really? I'm guessing this is complete bullshit, and you're trying to slip your little narrative here of, oh yeah, now we're going to find shit with Russia with Scaramucci. I'm going to go and guess that, yeah, that's you little fuckers. You're planting the seed for that. You're planting the seed with this. And the thing is that's not why Priebus did this. It's because he knows that Scaramucci is Trump's man. He's not a deep state man. Okay? And when you got a name like Scaramucci, I don't think you want to fuck with him. An aide to Mr. Priebus said he had not blocked it, but merely tried to slow it down. Okay, so another anonymous source is making some bullshit comment here. Yeah, no, Priebus tried to stop it because he did not want President Trump to have one of his guys on the inside. Mr. Scaramucci's appointment came 2 months after the previous communications director, Mike Dubke, stepped down as the official in charge of Mr. Trump's messaging. The eventual appointment of Mr. Scaramucci was backed by the president's daughter, Ivanka, which personally I don't think that she should be involved in any fucking thing, and Especially when she's perpetuating stupid shit like the 70 cents on the dollar feminism fucking women make less bullshit that's been debunked over and over, Mr. Kushner and the Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross officials said. Mr. Kushner has grown increasingly critical of both Mr. Spicer and Mr. Priebus, whom he regards as party establishment figures who operate out of self-interest. And he's right on that one. They are party establishment figures that operate out of self-interest, that sell and peddle influence. Okay? That's what these people are. He also supported Mr. Trump's decision to supplant Mark E. Kasowitz as his lead attorney on matters pertaining to Russia, according to people familiar with the situation. Again, more anonymous sources that you're never going to show. Mr. Priebus and Stephen K. Bannon, the president's chief strategist, both strongly opposed the appointment of Mr. Scaramucci. Well, of course, because Bannon's a little bit worried. I'm going to say, on the note of, this is someone who has a direct line to the president's ear and vice versa. He's someone that is going to keep an eye out, at least in theory, for the president's interests. And I don't necessarily, I like Bannon a lot better than Priebus, but I knew that he had his own motives with things as well. And here, so yeah, they both were strongly opposed to Mr. Scaramucci, in large part because he enjoys an easy banter and direct line to Mr. Trump, potentially threatening their positions. 4 people briefed on the discussion said people close to both men insisted they had not opposed the move by the president. So, if this was if this is a situation where he works out well in this position, the other 2 could be asked to give their resignations or moved around. And I can understand they're not wanting that to happen. We're talking about the presidency of the United States. You get into a position as part of the president's staff or cabinet or whatever, as long as you have ties and you're not some you're not, say, like some custodian at the White House, you've got some power. You've got some authority. Even if you're like a pencil pusher and you're a bureaucrat that was, put there by a previous administration, there's power to that position. And everyone knows that. When you have that power, even if it's not that much power, power is corrupting. So, middle management that has some power because of the position in the White House might take advantage of it. Anyone might. It's because power corrupts. And you're going to use it to, because Priebus, he's definitely using the office that he has to, for self-interest and interest of like the deep state and so forth. I just can't. I look at this and it's like they're trying to make a mountain out of a molehill with that. Mr. Trump, aggravated by their opposition, dressed the pair down in a testy Oval Office exchange around the time he decided to offer Mr. Scaramucci, known in the Trump circles as the Mooch, the job. Proof! Where's your fucking proof? Where is your proof he dressed them down? To me, this is fiction about what happened with this situation. There's no fucking witness testimony. There's none of that. So this is fucking fiction. The president, according to 3 people with knowledge of the situation. What kind of knowledge? First hand, second hand, third hand, fifth hand? Said one of the reasons he hired Mr. Scaramucci was to cut down on anonymous leaking and took a swipe at his 2 advisors. Because, yeah, I believe that Scaramucci is there to cut down on anonymous leaking and to handle it. I don't see them knowing, unless they were in the room, that he took a swipe at two of his advisors. I'm calling bullshit. He asked them how the leaks were happening, according to a person familiar with the discussions. Again, your sources. And called Mr. Spicer a good guy who leaks only when told to by Mr. Priebus. Well, yeah. Because he's fucking Priebus's bitch. And Priebus's deep state. They both are. Mr. Scaramucci met with Priebus Friday, according to West Wing officials, and the two agreed to again, an anonymous source, and the two agreed to work together. No, they didn't agree to work together. They basically said they're not about to declare war, is what I'm going to say. I mean, this was kind of them saying, yeah, I'm keeping an eye on either one of you. I just don't get it. You guys are seriously pushing a narrative. I look at this and I'm like, oh my God. When the pair joined Mr. Spicer in the second floor office of the press secretary in a show of unity, applause could be heard echoing down the hallway. Okay. But there's a but. There's always a but. But senior officials, including Miss Sanders, were said to be stunned by the sudden shuffle. Yeah, because everyone was under the impression that Spicer was getting a promotion. If there was any being stunned. I mean, that's still in question. While Miss Sanders will preside at the daily briefing most days, Mr. Trump has told his advisors he is open to rotating new people into the slot. He is said to be especially high on Sebastian Gorka, a blustery foreign policy official who has been accused of having ties to far-right groups in Europe. Okay. And I love this one right here. Ties to far-right groups in Europe. Do you know what constitutes a far-right group in Europe today? If you can tell by my laughing, I do. A far-right group, okay, is any group that is against bringing in all these fucking military-aged Muslim men that are driving trucks of peace into fucking crowds and knifing people and blowing shit up. That makes you part of a right group. If your group is against that, you're a far right. You're a far fucking right group in Europe. If you believe in nationalism, and your group does, you're a far right group in Europe. If your group believes in legal immigration, again, far right group. So, yeah, nice fucking try there. During the transition, Mr. Priebus and Mr. Spicer stocked the press shop with their associates from the Republican National Committee, rankling, is that even a fucking word? Trump campaign loyalists who reminded the president that Mr. Priebus had suggested he drop out of the race after an Access Hollywood tape of Mr. Trump's comments about women became public. Okay. Exactly. They fucking stalked. They stacked the deck against Trump in the press shop. That was the intent. They're all little deep state lackeys. Okay? And the whole previous thing is a marriage of convenience. He had to do that to make sure they weren't going to try to steal the nomination from the president. Now, this ending it with this comments about women became public. It was one woman, or maybe two, and it was talking about doing consensual stuff that they were letting him do. Mr. Priebus urged Mr. Trump to hire Mr. Spicer and another lieutenant, Katie Walsh, as deputy chief of staff. But Miss Walsh left the White House after a short time when Mr. Kushner and the other West Wing's officials forced her out without Mr. Priebus objecting. Well, that's because they were like, no, this is a deep state bitch. We're getting her the fuck out of Dodge. Looks like they succeeded. Mr. Trump and Mr. Spicer did not have a close relationship, but the two spent hours together, and Mr. Trump said he felt sorry for the ridicule his press secretary received because of his portrayal on Saturday Night Live. He repeatedly told aides to convey Mr. Spicer that he wanted him to stay. Well, yeah. I would too. If I fucking laid things out to get the fucker to quit. Have him think he's going to get a fucking promotion because he feels entitled. And then walk out because he didn't. That's planned. He planned that fucking shit. And he doesn't want to seem like an asshole. So, oh yeah, Yeah. What I want you to do is I want you to go over and tell him that I'm trying to do Trump and I can't. But, yeah. I want you to tell him that, I want him to stay. Yeah. You know, I mean, cover his ass. But by the 6-month mark, Mr. Trump's presidency, President Trump, both men had had enough of each other. Well, yeah, because Spicer's a little deep state bitch. And the president isn't deep state. It's pretty self-explanatory on that one. In recent weeks, Mr. Trump had told people that Mr. Spicer was no longer tough. One of the harshest insults he can level. And he really hasn't been tough. He's been kind of like a whiny little bitch creating an environment that gives assholes like you an ability to attack him. And, oh my God. You're both professional fucking writers. This is the New York fucking Times. This isn't some HuffPost blog. Okay? Your editor should have seen this and said, whoa, you don't start a sentence with and. Using and at the start of a sentence is bad form. It's bad grammar. It's not really proper English. And Mr. Spicer told friends he was tired of being blindsided by Mr. Trump. No, by President Trump, and weary of President Trump's constant criticism. Why would he be weary of constant criticism? Could it be because he fucking deserved it? Because of how he handled shit? On how he gave fuel to the fire that the press was fucking fanning? Could it be to the fact that he gave them fucking ammunition, even if it's bullshit, to try to attack him? Could that be why with the president, you fucking disrespecting little fucktards? He's the president. If this was Obama, you would call him President Obama. If this was fucking Hillary and she'd won, you'd be going, President Hillary Rodham Clinton, the first woman president ever. And that would be how you'd be referring to her every fucking time. The woman who broke the glass ceiling. That's how you'd be referring to her. This fucking shit is disgusting how you write this shit. He instituted the highly contentious practice of holding off-camera briefings less to snub reporters than to avoid Mr. Trump's critiques of his performance, according to one of Mr. Spicer's friends. Oh, no. The public was seeing that he was a deep state fucking shill, couldn't keep his fucking cool, and was making the president look bad. That's why he was fucking doing it. Oh, and you people were the ones who was helping to show that he was doing a shitty fucking job. Thank you. The end came in operatic fashion befitting Mr. Scaramucci's namesake, a stock character in Italian musical theater. As Mr. Scaramucci made his big entrance, Mr. Spicer exited quietly, disheartened that the president never quite appreciated his performance. If Spicer was thinking that, he's fucking delusional. More delusional than you are. to fucking perpetuate that shit. Oh my God. He was a deep state shill. Why would the president appreciate him? He'd want to get rid of him, for fuck's sake, like he did by playing the situation of putting someone in a position that he can trust that Spicer thought he was going to get. You fucking people at New York Times, you two fucking authors that wrote this piece of shit, all of you all are fucking fake news making, shit stirring, fucking wastes of space. You really are. This is some funny fucking shit. Anyways, this is the Constitutionalist Libertarian. I'm going to end it here. If you like the video, definitely hit the thumbs up. If you want to see more of my content, subscribe. If you want to be notified of the content when it comes out, definitely ring the bell. Thank you. You all have a good one.